create. It's all about art. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. This is Franz, Sidney speaking to you, and today we have a special guest and her name is Jelena Hohlun. Did I say this correctly?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
That's brilliant. So thank you for coming to the show. Jelena is, like me, a rapid transformational therapist, and she has also discovered very recently a love for collage. I was having a look at her very fresh and spontaneous images, sound quite provocative, and so I would like to start from the very beginning because this is all about art. So let's start with introducing yourself, and then we'll talk about when did you start having this interest in the art. So it's all yours now.
Hi, Franz. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me on your show. And yes, my name is Jelena Hohlun, and I am a collage artist, and also I've studied hypnotherapy with Marissa Pierce, so I'm RTT therapist. Actually, I started my love for collages started earlier than I've discovered therapy. So collage has been a therapy for me in the beginning. It was like a meditative sort of form and expression of myself. So I really liked magazines, fashion magazines, and I really liked art. And I thought, how can I combine it together? So I kind of discovered that organically, how I can mix both. And I really like this medium.
That is a great beginning. So when exactly did you actually start thinking, actually I like art? You know, were you a young lady and were you going to school? When was that you realized, yeah, I actually love it?
Mm-hmm. Well, since the age of 13, my mom, she sent me to art school because she discovered that I do like to draw. So from the age of 13, I went to art school for 4 years. So that was more like a classic education. So that was pencil drawing, that was watercolors, and some bits of composition. But when I really discovered art that I really like it, that I really like to go to the museums, is when I moved to London. And my favorite exhibition to date is when I went to see John Stedeker, that was in Whitechapel Gallery. It was in 2012, and that exhibition remains pretty definitely my top 3 favorite to this day. So John Stedeker, he was doing black and white film stills together with postcards. And if you imagine, like, say, for example, there are 2 people, they're kissing in the film, but their faces are not seen. So he would actually find that specific image of a mountain or rail track that would kind of like go through their heads. It was really abstract, but it did make sense at the same time because of the proportions and colors. It still made it look as if it was 2 heads. And the whole exhibition was just fascinating. The way he put images together and shapes together and the landscape together, that was like, wow. So when I was graduating from university, I had loads of sketchbooks and I had loads of magazines and articles. And I thought, I can't just really chuck it away because it's too much and I've spent so much effort into doing my sketchbook. So how can I put it all together, say with magazines, because I didn't want to chuck away magazines either. And I remembered John Stedeker and I thought, why can't I try something similar? So that was sort of like an ongoing journey for me. So I've developed my style in collages organically, just by simply putting images together, see how it works and what type of story I can create with that. So in a way, started with the recycling paper from my sketchbooks and magazines, but it grew into something really artistic that I really enjoy doing.
That's great. I love all this process of thinking, what can I do with this? how is the story gonna come out, and how can I do a little bit different from him? So it's very cinematic as well, right?
Yeah.
That's quite interesting. How about Gone with the Wind?
Gone with the Wind, yeah, see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be quite fun. So I really wanted to ask you what happened then. So you started to do all these images, putting them together.
Sure.
And how did you then develop? Did you take them to the public? Did you share them with somebody? What happened?
Right, so by chance, I discovered a person called Tony Cunningham at one of the I forgot what they're called, but that was the exhibition where many creators were together, and we just started talking. And then he said, "Oh, actually, I'm doing collages as well, and I've got this collages collective kind of group of people. So they have Instagram account, and he posts loads of artists who are part of his group together." So he said, "Sometimes we're doing shows, so why don't you become a group?" Part of the member of the group and join us. And I said, okay. So actually in 2018, I was part of 3 shows with them. So that was Brixton Library in Brixton. And that was a little gallery in Southwark. And that was a gallery, 100 Years Gallery in East London. So that was quite interesting. And I have to tell you, it's an intimate decision to make to start exhibiting your work, because I was kind of like being in my little cocoon, putting all these images together, thinking, yeah, but when it actually comes to show it takes a little bit of courage, because you understand that you are going to be judged for your work. You're going to see reactions of people, either they would like it or not. And then it just depends how you take it. So that was also like a little learning curve of how to express yourself and how to put it out there. Because once you do that, you can't really take it back. Once you put your work on social media, you can't really take it back. So it's one of them.
Yes.
Interesting experiences. Yeah.
Yes, I was interviewing yesterday Clive Twain, who wrote a book. And one of the questions was this question: what will you do when some will like it and some will not like your book? And that's the same with art. What will you do? And it was like, my book was born out of frustration. I needed to get it out of my chest, so I'm not worried. And you're not worried because everyone is different. They all like different things. Some people will love your work. Some people will be indifferent. Some people will hate it, because it's all in the mind, isn't it? What we perceive as good or not good, or unpleasant, or maybe it's disgusting or very interesting, or it's moving and make you cry. It depends on the story you're playing in your head. And we know very, very well how this works, because we are both articulate therapists. In fact, people don't know, but we actually train together.
Exactly.
So in Brixton, I used to live in Brixton. So there we go. I know exactly where you were. That's beautiful. So let's go to the next question. I wrote it down because I thought I'm going to forget.
Let's go for
it. This. And the thing is, collage. When you are at school, you do collage. Then high school arrives and it starts to go down, right? And then people kind of stop. So if somebody wanted to get started now with collage, before we go and have a look at some of your pictures, okay? What would you suggest that they do if you want to use collage as a form of relaxation and finding yourself and just pondering and just do a little bit of inner work and just like, I'm just going to do this today. I need it. What would you suggest to do?
I would suggest to anyone who would want to try their hands in any sort of art, doesn't necessarily need to be a collage. I would just say, just do it, because it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be amazing. It doesn't need to be liked by anyone. In fact, I would just recommend to start, and you don't necessarily need to show your work to anyone yet, because when you spend more time doing it, when you spend more time looking at it, so you get more used to, this is your new hobby, or this is what you want to be doing. So you take a little time with it, and then You can show it to your friends, you can show it to your family, but you shouldn't be scared of criticism, because even with the great artists, they're not being liked by everyone, and so what? We're all different. We don't like same colors. We don't like same fashion. We don't like same food. So why should we like same art? So art is great form of expression of yourself, and I think that's why, if it's being set in your mind for such a long time, you definitely should do it. As again, I said, it doesn't need to be perfect. People really need to forget and strip their layer that everything should be perfect and amazing, and it should be understood by everyone. Like, say, some people like abstract art, some people like landscapes. It's two different things. Some people think it's boring, some people think it's amazing. Like, for example, when I showed some of my work to my mom, she said, "And why do you do this for? And what does that mean?" So since then, I thought, you know what? I don't probably need to do this. I don't need to explain myself what I'm creating. There are people who do understand, and there are people who will never understand, and that's okay. But I think in order to start doing anything, not only collages, it can be anything. It's just letting yourself do it. That's my great suggestion. Just do it. Start and see where it takes you.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I would like to share some images, but I am not sure how this is going to work. So we're going to do a great live
All right.
experiment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go onto your Instagram accounts. Okay, it says art is the best form of thinking process. I never plan what type of image I want to create. I put pictures together and see what happens. It's very free, very spontaneous
That's
approach.
right.
So if we scroll down, we have quite a lot of images. Now, I'm just gonna pick up one that I saw before that was quite fun. Obviously, there are loads, but you have this Vogue one open up. Let's see if we can open that. And maybe, okay. Did you want to say something about there is a woman with a very big eyes and is everything, there's a Vogue and then there's a photographer and there's Kuala Lumpur. Aha. So what's going on in this picture? Why did you put all this together?
Right. Right. So original image is just the drink, the glass, and the cocktail, and that's an advertising for Vogue Lounge in Kuala Lumpur. So when I saw that image, and I was going through my other images, and in fact, this has been inspired by something I saw online. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember it was big lips and big eyes, and I thought, how can I give life to this glass? And I was playing around with different shapes and different flowers actually as well, images of flowers. But then I thought that face in here would work so much better. And then sometimes when I put something together, then I see other images that work together in other images, so it works as a layer. So then I saw that image of a girl with water dripping over her mouth. So I thought that would actually work quite well, because that's a drink and someone wants to drink it. And below is he's actually, I forgot his name. His name is Bill Cunningham. So he unfortunately had passed away, but he was very famous street photographer during New York Fashion Week. So he was really, really famous in Vogue, and actually for all people who follow fashion. So I thought, that also works together quite well, because he was part of Vogue, and this is a Vogue advertising for Vogue Cafe. So that's how this collage was born.
There we go. See all this story, and people think it's only two pieces of paper.
Exactly.
So, yeah, but as you can see, I mean, those in the podcast won't be able to see everything, but there are very colorful images. Do you design a palette of colors, a mood board before you start, or do you just go for
No,
it?
no. How I actually start. So, for example, I have a magazine or a newspaper, and after I finish reading, I just go quickly through it and see if I like any images in there. And any images I like, I just pull out and put it into my stash. So when I feel creative and feel like I do really want to do some artwork today, I just go through all what I have, and then I just I would think what would work together, what wouldn't work together, and then play with it, and then change it. And then this is how it all works out together. So it's just literally on the go. It's not, it's not pre-planned. It's not something I want to say. It's just whatever happens. And then if it corresponds to my mood, I'll just say that this is how I feel today, or this is what I say with this, or this image was born to say this. That's how it usually happens.
Yeah, thank you. It really shows how kind of spontaneous and fresh a process is really a process of channeling things out of your body without really planning anything, just for the enjoyment of that. And if you think, collage was around, Picasso did it and a lot of people did it in all their own forms. There's also musical collage. By just really liberating, as a mental health professional, what would you think is a connection there with being free?
People tend to think about many things that they have to pre-think loads of things, or they have to plan, but not necessarily. With loads of things in life, you don't need to plan. So I think how I would connect mental health and, for example, collage in my case, it's really soothing process. It really calms you down. And also for me, when I create my artwork, I just have this massive flow of different ideas. So very often I will have a pad with me, and whatever just comes into my head, I just write it down. Otherwise, I'll forget it. But it's a very soothing, it's very calm, and it's kind of like meditation in action. So I would definitely suggest whoever is feeling anxious loads of times, or when they just really feel misplaced, art is definitely one of the forms to calm themselves down and to actually dive deep inside of themselves, see what is actually happening in their mind. And so this is a great form of doing that. There are, I think, art therapy is being called art therapy for a reason, because it's really therapeutic. It's really soothing, and it just sometimes it just shows you layers of your creative thinking that haven't really thought before, but you would never discover unless you start doing it. So again, I would definitely promote this form of therapy, if you will. Yeah.
Self-healing therapy, that's great. We're getting to the end, and there was a question, but I think you've almost half answered really. And the question was, what's the best part for you of doing collage? And have you already given me an answer really? Because it's how you feel. Is there anything else that is the best part of it?
The best part of creating collage is actually, before this has become my new part, one of the best parts is that I can put it out on social media for people to see, because I didn't really know, and actually you wouldn't know unless you did, that you'll always have your audience. You'll always have people who would appreciate it, and you will always have people who think, what is this? So, but it's quite nice to actually show it and see if your art corresponds with someone else. So this is my one of the best, but the best still, it started with the best, and it's still the best is actually when you sit down and you in your little zone and you start working with images. So see how it works out, see how you put it together, and see what type of image is being born in front of your eyes. That's a great thing.
It's great. So the creation process is really exhilarating, isn't it?
Yes.
There is a purpose for that. And I'm so glad we had a chat because, it reminded me, I used to love collage when I was young. Now I just don't do it. But it's okay. What are you going to plan? Is it possible to plan? What are you planning for your visual work next? Are you going to take it somewhere? Are you going to make more exhibitions? Just keep it in Instagram?
Before the lockdown, I haven't done it in quite some time. So when I actually had the time to do it, so I was concentrating on that. Right now, it's still quite hard to plan with exhibitions and anything public. But yeah, since I've resumed it, I really want to exhibit more. So I just want to meet more people and take my work into different places. And actually, it doesn't necessarily need to be physical exhibition. It can be virtual as well. So, for example, loads of people, loads of artists who also do collages. It can be something that maybe we could do together. I don't know. It's a process. Yes,
A
it's a
collective
process.
exhibit. You don't know. Did you want to tell us before we close a little bit about your work as an RTT therapist? Because I know you have a very specific niche.
Yeah, so my niche is to stop blushing, because that's been a problem for me for quite some time before. Obviously, not anymore, thank God, and thanks to therapy that we've learned together with Marissa Peer. That blushing has got to do with anxiety, and anxiety's got one of the forms why blushing is happening is one of the reasons is anxiety, and it could be other reasons as well. But anxiety's got many facets, and if I had to tie it to art, I would say that this is a fear of self-expression, fear of showing yourself, showing your inner or vulnerable side, and fear of being judged by others. So, once it's there and people start talking to you, loads of people might think, oh, just get me out of here. I don't want to talk about this. This is too intimate. So that's how I would tie therapy in what I specialize and artistic side of mine. So it has been both quite well, because now I'm not really afraid of expressing myself, but there are loads of people out there who are, and especially women, young women who are vulnerable. And nowadays we live in a world of social media, so it can be quite challenging at times. So my mission is to actually point people, young women, to not be afraid to express themselves. Think of them as if they're always enough, and just see what happens, because we're here. Life is actually quite short, so you might as well enjoy it. Enjoy and don't care what other people think about you, because the more you think what other people think, the less you concentrate on yourself, and the less you learn about yourself, and less you live your life just because you want to please others, and this is not the right thing to do.
That's great. And how can people find you if they want to discuss, to have some therapy with you? Where do they go? Do they have to go to Instagram and get you from there?
So I've got Stop Blushing Now. It's one word. It's on Instagram, and also I've got a Facebook page which is the same name, Stop Blushing Now. One word.
That's nice. Stop Blushing Now. Is that a .com?
No, it's just a Facebook page, which is Stop Blushing Now. Yes.
Okay.
And Instagram is one word, Stop Blushing Now.
Okay, guys. So if you are blushing, that's where you need to go. You need to see Jelena and ask for help, and she might help you even using maybe collage,
Exactly. We never know. Or discover your artistic side.
Well, it's all something to be worked out on. I'm really glad that we had this lovely chat.
Yes.
And I hope that you will be sharing or clicking on this document, share it with your friends so they can learn the beauty of working with collage to express what we have inside in a completely free way, to really get the artist inside us, and maybe, to express all these ideas and emotions that don't want to come out. It's been a pleasure to have you. So thank you, everyone, and I will talk to you very, very soon in the next episode. We are probably gonna have Stephen, who is a sculptor. We're gonna have 4 episodes with him, all about his art, and it's gonna be amazing. So I'm very excited. So everyone, take care and see you soon. You have listened to an episode of Create. It's all about art.